Good morning, what's going on? A couple of words today. Today's little lesson is going to be called The Ordinary Life. Yesterday I was getting a little foot job there and I got a really good question. One of the questions that I got really made me think. And the question was, Lewis, what if you don't want to start a business and build wealth and invest and have all this extraordinary lifestyle? What if you literally just would be happy with the ordinary life and living in suburbia and doing all the things that you generally say don't do? And if that's you, or you know someone who is like that, the truth is a lot of the advice that I give here doesn't apply. When I go out and share these mini lessons, I've done like 500 odd mini lessons, the advice that I'm sharing is assuming that you want an extraordinary life. I personally am interested in an extraordinary life, and I'm personally interested in teaching people to have an extraordinary life, and I attract generally the demographic of people who watch me who are interested in an extraordinary life. And so when I say go find your purpose, go build a business, go and invest, keep liquid, rent, go and get a credit card to get the points, so that you can fly in first class without having to pay for it. And do all of these things. A lot of my strategies are for these people who want an extraordinary life. This is not plug and play. If you're got a different idea about how you want to live life, my strategies may not be wise. So let me give an example. We have someone in our family who has issues with the drugs, issues with keeping a job, keeping employment, keeping income, getting their shit together. My advice of get a credit card, get the points so you can fly first class and rent the fucking place, and so that you can upgrade your lifestyle because your income's going to be scaling and all this sort of jazz, is really bad advice for a fucking individual like that. And when I really get down to it, what would I advise someone like that to do? And I'm talking here about someone who's really struggling with the drug addiction and with the homelessness, like that kind of level we're talking about. My advice to them, honestly, would be clean up, go back to school, get some kind of qualification of sorts, and get a secured job. And then because they're not interested in starting a business or scaling their income, it's not on their radar. One of the wisest things that they could probably do is to save for a deposit to get a home and buy a house and stay there for the rest of their life. Because if they were to take my regular advice, which would just be to rent a nicer place now and take the monthly cash flow advantage to go and invest passively every month in stock market index funds and build liquid wealth and create financial independence while renting and upgrading and scaling the income and living like the king in bigger, better places, they're not going to fucking do that. They're going to take the rental advantage and go and blow it on drugs. So that's not going to work, that strategy for them. And as for my credit card strategy, the majority of people can't handle that. They can't manage that. We have a 200% DTI in Australia. Debt to income is 200%. People can't fucking deal with credit cards. When I share that advice, it's for the few. And so when people say that the financial advisor on the TV morning breakfast show here said all this thing and it's different to what you teach. And when people say I'm in college, I've got this textbook and it says to do this shit that's different to what you teach on your Insta snaps, I say, yeah, it's advice for the masses. And what they're saying is true and wise and accurate. If you're a part of the fucking masses, you got to understand that when you're running a country or running a planet, you want to have everyone rise up to the middle. They already know that the people who are going to excel and create extraordinary lives are going to figure out this bullshit anyway and go and do it. They don't need to teach that in the mainstream. But they do need to teach for the fucking lowest rungs of society to get them to the middle. Advice for the masses is not the same as advice for the masters. So I thought that it could be wise to share this little paradox this morning. I want to remind you guys that sometimes when I hear people saying completely opposite to what I share often, is I don't necessarily disagree with what they're saying. It just depends on the context. Who is that message intended for? Because the truth is, the majority of the people are content with ordinary lives. Or at least they say they are, which I don't believe. Because the truth is, your soul is calling you to shine ever brighter and to evolve. It's calling you to expand and experience ever higher degrees of life and living. So when people shut that down, they say, well, I'm content with my small little life. I don't believe that. What I would find out is, what are you afraid of? There's a fear present here, and you're dimming your own light because of it. It's either a fear that's holding you back, or you don't know your purpose yet. You don't know what you're here on the rock to do or to fulfill. Fear and purpose. I built systems to help people to dissolve this and find this. So then when they do that, they get on with the extraordinary life anyway. So fucking just dissolve your fear and find your purpose and go and make an extraordinary life.